Personal letters, escalation clauses, and even offering above list price on a house may not guarantee that your offer gets accepted. So today, we are going to talk through 5 tips to get your offer accepted when buying a house. I'm Nicole Nark, Arkansas real estate broker, and welcome back to my channel with videos to help you find your way home. The first trick that you can possibly take advantage of when writing your offer is to write your offer as an as-is sale, or that you are buying the house as is. Now, as is means you are buying it in its current condition. You are not going to be asking the seller to repair any items while you're under contract. Now, here is the caveat with this one. If you are offering to buy a house as is, just make sure that you are still protecting yourself and holding on to your inspection contingency. So I've had a lot of success with home buyers that I'm working with doing this. They will keep the inspection contingency in their offer, saying that they do have the right to inspect the house, but they're not going to demand that the seller does or completes any repairs. Buying a house as is up front lets the seller know that you are pretty serious, and it would have to be a really big item that would break the deal, but little things are probably not going to, and you're gonna still be motivated to move forward on the house. As someone who is on the field in this crazy real estate market, working with home buyers like yourself, I am writing offers for my clients left and right, and there's one specific thing that I see get in the way. So stay tuned to the end of the video where I will share that with you so that you do not fall into the same trap. Tip number 2 is that you can waive your appraisal contingency. The appraisal is when an appraiser comes out from the bank to basically justify the home's value. If you are offering above list price on a house to try to make your offer as competitive as possible, there is a chance that your house may not appraise for that higher price that you had to offer in order to be the best offer. So what you can do, if you're willing, is waive the appraisal contingency that states that you will only buy the house for the appraised value. By waiving this, you're basically saying that if the home value comes in appraised at $250, but that you offered $260 and you waived your appraisal contingency, that means that you as the buyer would be willing to cover the difference from the $250 to $260 out of your own pocket. Let's say that I have this house listed for $250,000 and I get 2 different $260,000 offers. One of them is a normal offer where the appraisal contingency is in place, which means if the house does not appraise for your contract price, we have to renegotiate. Whereas the other one waives the appraisal contingency. So in this offer, you're saying that you're offering $260 and you'll pay $260 even if the appraisal comes in lower. Well, then as a seller, I'm gonna be more inclined to take the offer that waives the appraisal contingency, because I know that in the event that that appraisal comes in below our contract price, I will be covered because you will be willing to pay that difference on your own with money out of your own pocket. The third trick that I suggest if you want to have the best odds of getting your offer accepted is do not ask the seller for closing costs. Of course, typically in a more balanced market, you can negotiate with the seller to cover a portion of or all of your closing costs as a buyer that are associated with getting your loan. Now, you know this by now, you guys are smart home buyers. When a seller is reviewing offers, they are looking at which one is going to put the most money in their pocket. So if you as a buyer are asking the seller for money towards your closing costs, that's more money out of their pocket. So the best tip is if you can afford to cover your own closing costs, please do so, and don't ask for the seller to cover any of those for you. That will automatically bump you ahead of any offers on the table where buyers are asking for closing costs. Trick number 4 is to submit your highest and best offer right off the bat and make a decision on a home quickly. Long gone are the days where you could go home, sleep on it, maybe meet with your realtor and go back the next day and truly kind of ponder whether you want to make an offer. Right now, I'm seeing a lot of people making offers sight unseen, or after maybe a 15 to 20 minute walkthrough on a property. So it is important that you can understand that you're making a decision quickly, not letting your emotions get too far ahead of you, and go ahead and submit your highest and best offer. Let's say we're back at that $250,000 house example. If you want to offer $250,000, which is the list price, and I ask you, how upset would you be if you heard that you got beat out by someone offering $252,000? What would you do in that situation? Would you try to outbid them if you could? If the answer is yes, then that means we're not at your highest and best offer yet. We need to really, it sounds crazy, but offer the highest that you would feel comfortable. Like your max is what you need to offer on the front end, because if sellers have multiple offers on the table, they're most likely not going to take the time to try and counter offers back. They're usually just going to go with the best one that they have, and that's going to be it. Trick 5 is that you want to be a flexible negotiator. And this goes in with writing your actual offer. So I would suggest that you have your realtor reach out to the agent that represents the seller. And the reason that this is important is because the seller may have some situations that they are going through when they're selling their house that could affect how quickly they want to close, if they need time to move out, etc. So if you as a buyer can be flexible, you can kind of cater your offer to include terms that would really favor and benefit the seller in the sense of just making their life easier. So what I mean by that is sometimes the seller of the home that you were trying to buy is also going to be turning around and buying another house. So see if there is a certain closing date that you need to close on or close before. Knowing that will help your offer look stronger if you write it up that way. In addition to that, try and find out if the seller needs time to move out of their house. If they do, you might be able to do a delayed occupancy to where you're letting the seller stay in the house for a few days after closing to get everything out and moved into storage or their new house. Okay, so let's get into the last thing. This is the biggest tip that I can share with you guys. Keep your emotions in check when we are in a competitive real estate market. Now, this may seem super self-explanatory, but let me elaborate here for 1 second. Have you ever seen those movies where it's like either a guy or a girl and then all of a sudden they see the love of their life and then everything flashes and it's like in slow motion. The girl's hair is like blowing in the wind. You've seen these films. There are a lot of buyers who feel the exact same way about houses. So when you walk into a house, immediately it's not, oh, this is a nice house. It's, I could see myself in this bathroom. I'm gonna decorate this room like this. And we're gonna plant this here. I love roses here. And without even having the house under contract for you to further evaluate yet, you are married to the house. So you have to keep in mind that pursuing a house is just like dating a human, right? So when you go for your first tour of a house, that and making an offer should just be considered your first date. You're not in love with the house yet. You can't allow yourself to fall head over heels for it yet. You need to be able to do your due diligence and figure out if you and this house have a future together. So On that first tour and when considering making your offer, look for things that could be red flags or potential awesome things, but don't go crazy. Just try to look at the house at face value, look at the neighborhood at face value. Don't get too emotionally involved in it right now, because even if your offer is the accepted one, we still have other dates that we're gonna go on before we're gonna get married. We're gonna have a home inspection date, a home appraisal date, lots more before actually making the commitment. So I hope that that analogy helps you all a little bit. If you are buying your first house, or if it has been a while since you have bought a house, I will link together a video that I made specifically on the things that I wish I knew when I bought my first house. I think you guys would find this beneficial, especially in this competitive market, so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. I will see you guys in the next video.